Hello and welcome to Mr. Johnson's Time Machine. I'm your host, Rory McBain, and today I'm flying solo, I guess. Mr. Johnson is not here, and I've waited an hour, and I have to get to another appointment, so I guess we're starting the episode without Mr. Johnson. Hopefully he'll meet us here sometime on the way. He didn't return my calls or emails. I'm not sure if he's still mad from last episode. Regardless, let's move forward. For our last episode of the season, that's right, it's episode 10, I wanted to focus on some of the incredible achievements individual human beings have accomplished, often against overwhelming odds, incredible danger, and the unbelievable stupidity of other human beings. We're a very odd species. Now, of course, Mr. Johnson not here. I guess I'm left to my own devices on the time machine. But at this point, I think that I've got it figured out. And oh, okay, nope. Let's get out. Okay, you know what? I may need a minute, and this seems like a perfect place for an ad. I don't think we have an ad, so I'm just gonna stop recording and start again in a second. And welcome back. Human beings are explorers. Always have been. After emerging from the African subcontinent, human beings quickly spread across the entire face of the earth, always pushing boundaries of exploration to make sure not one single inch of this planet will exist without human influence. Now, whether it be flying to the stars or diving to the bottom of the ocean, human beings will spare no expense in resources or lives to scratch that explorer's itch. In the 20th century, this spirit was embodied best by Sir Edmund Hillary, the first man to reach the summit of Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth. But was Hillary the first or the second? For years, the mystery has endured over whether Hillary or his Sherpa, Tenzing Norgay, was the first to actually reach the top. Today, we solve that mystery once and for all as we visit Mount Everest on May 29, 1953, 11:30 a.m. local.
Tenzing, I just want to record in my diary. Today, Edmund Hillary is about to ascend the summit of Mount Everest. If you would hand me my diary.
One of these books, you say?
Yes, there's some erotic fiction in there. Just, it's not...
Books can be sexy?
Yeah, yes. Actually,
Okay.
pick one of those up.
I've thought the wrong things about books for years.
Here, let me read you. Here, this one is kind of a fun one. The Naked Fire. Listen to a few passages of this. Her loins descended upon me.
Oh.
I got to stop. I'm getting
please.
aroused. But forget our loneliness now.
Okay.
I am about to be the first man to summit Mount Everest.
I think that we're both here, sir. So
Well, we're both here, but
you wouldn't have found it without me. You couldn't have navigated.
I know, yes, but all this equipment, I mean, the ropes, the grappling hooks, the boots,
Sir,
I bought them.
I don't need any of that. That is all for you.
Listen, you don't have to rub it in my face that you could basically climb this mountain naked, all right?
That's how we learn as children. So we are about to become the first man. If not, maybe I'm about to become.
Okay.
Stand here, and
Yep.
I'll step to a couple more steps up, and I'll be the first man.
Give me that.
Move out of the way.
Listen to me. I will pay you to just say that Edmund Hillary was the first man to climb Everest. I don't care what the price. Would you reach into my bag? Yes, there's some erotica in there if you're interested.
Those are sex stories about fire being naked.
Very interesting. As I mentioned, sparing no expense. I still don't know if we've answered the question of who actually got there first. I don't know if he paid him to be there first or... Oh, hang on. Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Johnson has just arrived. Why don't you come on in? Well, I don't know what you're doing here.
You were going to be done by now, and
I'm sorry, you thought I was going to be done? Why didn't you come in for the
Why are
podcast?
you still here? Why aren't you done?
Well, I waited for an hour before I started because you were not here. You didn't say anything.
All right, well,
So wait, you were planning to come in after I left?
yeah, I was planning to come in late in anticipation that you would be gone and I could just record the episode.
But I was recording the episode.
Yeah, I knew you were going to record an episode, so I figured I'd listen to both and decide which one we would air.
Oh, I wonder which one you would have chosen in that case. Well, as it turns out, I've started the episode, and I've got some really interesting stuff going on.
Really?
Yes.
I've got some very interesting stuff going on.
I was just listening to Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, and they were on Mount Everest, obviously, and
Oh,
they made
okay.
mention of some erotic fiction, which I thought was an interesting callback to
Oh, yeah, the
Gutenberg.
printing press,
Yes.
the oppressed peoples of the world being held down by the corporations episode. I remember that one.
Well, it was actually, yeah, I mean, that's...
I'm glad that we're both here because there are some very exciting advancements that have been made with the AI, which I was hoping to come in and download,
You can do that.
update.
Why don't we update the... We're not done with the episode.
All right.
All right,
I'll do that.
listeners,
'Cause
how
you're
about
gonna,
that?
You're going to love this. You're gonna
Okay,
love this.
mid episode transition, we've got some new AI, I guess.
So the update is completed.
All right, folks,
And-
we've done the update. That was pretty quick. You got a powerful computer here.
Yeah, it's more about the AI itself and its adaptability. Here's the soft launch of this before I play it for you.
All right,
What I've developed here is a more specific dialect detector.
got it.
So when we're listening to something, what we're getting is a very whitewashed, largely Midwestern,
Indeed.
America accent.
Why don't we go back to a recent place we visited, the Age of Jesus Christ? Because in that episode, I noticed the AI translated jalapeno poppers, which I don't believe.
Sure, right.
That's a pretty Midwestern
Yeah, things
thing. I
like
think
that.
maybe
Yeah.
something in that area. Now falafel, of course, I think they were right on the money on that one, but you get a mix.
I think based on the region, there weren't a whole lot of Midwestern, what sounded like Scandinavian kids.
True,
You know.
yeah.
But anyway, here, let's go do it then.
All right, this is Jesus's time. I guess if we're going back to the tab, it's near the crucifixion. So maybe we go a little before that, obviously.
Yeah, that's okay. We got it.
Hey, baby.
Hey, Max, how you doing?
I missed you.
Well, you knew I was coming home, but I missed you too.
You know how it is.
You didn't have to stand right at the window, but that's
You know,
fine.
it's just that my girls be telling me,
Mm-hmm.
girl, you can't trust him. You can't be trusting him.
What?
But I trust you.
That's
I
fine.
trust you.
Okay, well, one, that's good. And two, you don't have to listen to everything your girls say, because ain't none of them got a man.
That's you know what, Jesus, you are absolutely right.
But anyway, baby, there's something I need to tell you.
What?
Well, in a couple, 2-3 days or so, I just feel it. I'm going to be gone.
What you mean
But
you're
don't
gonna
trip.
be gone?
No, I said.
No, what you mean you're gonna be
look,
gone?
I'm going to be back,
Because
though.
the last time you said that you were gone for 40 days,
That's not
okay?
gonna happen. We ain't talking about no 40
you sat
days.
there and you talked about
We ain't talking about 40 days.
all the evil and the women that
None of that.
came to you in your dreams, talking about let me suck this, touch that.
But that doesn't mean this is going to be another one of those. This is
Okay,
entirely
because my
different.
girl saw you
There
in the
you
desert.
go.
Okay,
Okay, I just
so
want you
when
to
you
remember
come
one thing.
up in here, you better come correct. You ain't Jesus of Nazareth up in here. Okay,
I think I am wherever I go.
okay.
But let me remind you of this. Where did I find you?
I might be a hoe in them streets, but I'm a hoe in these sheets too.
I already told you if you was listening with them big old ears of yours. Maybe your girls can hear it because they probably listening too. I'll be back.
Oh,
Just
you
give me a
coming
few
back?
days.
You didn't say that. Now,
I'ma
had you
rise
said,
again.
Baby, had you said that, baby, then I wouldn't have been going crazy like I just did. Baby, why didn't you say you's gonna be back? I
Look.
love you.
Look, I'm not even doing this for me.
You not?
No, baby, this is for you and everybody.
Ooh,
Because that's who I am.
my toga wet now.
Okay, so obviously the AI still needs some tweaks. We hear there at the end she refers to her gown as a toga,
toga,
which
yeah.
can't be accurate.
No, but,
so
you know,
there's
it's-
still
it's-
minor adjustments being made, but you can feel the difference.
Oh, there's different dialect at least. We seemingly caught him there on a good day where he's having this conversation. I have to say, he still was a little bit vague about coming back in 3 days.
You know, he mentions it. He says, "Hey, I'm leaving. I'm going to come back." I'm glad Ephraim's not here. I think this would be hard for him.
Oh, yeah, I hope he's doing okay, that guy. He needs
I'm
to get
sure.
some serious help.
Yeah, I think he's getting it. He's just probably getting the wrong kind of help right now. But when he's done getting the wrong kind of help, he'll find the right kind of help. I guess that's the point.
I suppose it is. Interesting things in there. I think the AI is definitely improving. There was that moment there near the end where he signaled, "I'm doing this for everyone," and then I don't know what that interference noise or if that's angels.
That's
I
a
don't know.
sound
I
from
mean,
the room, as far as I can tell. I didn't
My
show
goodness.
any interference on the graph here.
so that sounds coming from the room they were in.
I guess
Another
Sounds like-
interesting mystery. Boy, I'm telling you, each time we listen, as we solve some mysteries, others are presented to us.
That's right.
Well, we've done Jesus. So
Yeah, we've
let's
done
just-
Jesus to death. give it a couple days.
Oh dear. Yes. Well, Jesus, of course, he comes back all the time. It seems like. But let's move on again. I wasn't planning on doing, obviously, a letters episode. We already did that earlier, but I have to say we've continued to get a lot of letters from a specific type of history buff, I'm going to say. And I'm just going to read one representative letter that will take us into our next point. This letter comes from Mr. K. Leonard in Brooklyn, New York. I've been listening to the show, and I've noticed that you are ignoring one of only two men to be the first president in America. Of course, I'm talking about Jefferson Davis, who led the Confederacy against the tyranny of the North, and then it goes on and on for several paragraphs, statues, freedom.
I got taken for a little ride there and went, this guy's nuts. He thinks there was two first presidents. You know what? Historically, he's right.
In a way, although
argue that he's not.
They weren't presidents of the United States, I'll say that.
That's right.
I've done a little research, and we can bring you some Jefferson Davis, who, of course, was the first and only president of the Confederacy, which was the rebellion against the United States.
That's like being the XFL champ.
You know what? That's a great analogy. And you know what you don't see? Statues of XFL players.
No, you don't. Tommy Maddox never got a statue.
No. If you are a fan of Jefferson Davis, I can tell you, during the Civil War, there were not one but two Union spies in his house.
Well, it would be hard to tell people apart. I mean,
the spies were slaves.
Oh, shit!
Yes. And so apparently Jefferson Davis openly spoke about the plans of the South, and apparently a lot of that information got back to the Union.
I wonder how.
I think maybe we'll find out how, because what we've got is we've researched both Stonewall Jackson, famous Confederate general, and of course Robert E. Lee, who was the lead general of the South eventually. They were meeting in Jefferson Davis's house. Let's see if we can kind of figure out how these spies got their information.
I think it'd be best if we started getting our tongues wet with some liquid.
No.
Yes, that would be nice.
Battle plans, pencils, and magnifying glasses going before sunrise delete school.
I like to be thoroughly drunk before I plan any battle, to the point where I can plan the death of thousands of men.
Here's your whiskey, sir.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that's good. And once I get the buzz, then we can start planning the killing.
Well, here are the plans that I think can bring down the North.
Wait a minute. You're making the plans? You're the president.
Well, I think it's high time you started to recognize me for my lucrative strategic brain.
Yeah, we tried that. You remember Little Round Top?
Oh, here's bottle number 2, sir.
Do you remember Little Round Top?
I do, sir.
All right, Robert. I think you made your point just about clear enough for all of us here sitting around admiring your greatness as always.
We
you
lost.
Little pickle tosser. Gotta be the big man.
That's right. I am a little pickle tosser. I'll toss my pickle wherever I want to. I'll toss my pickle right on this table right now if I have to. No, it's coming out. Here it is.
Hey,
look at it.
You didn't ask for it, but here's your third bottle, sir.
Oh, thank you.
As you know, I will lay out this plan.
Can I tell my wife? I tell my wife everything.
No one must know of the plan of which I'm about to speak to you. It is between the three of us and the three of us only. Could I have one more cup of tea,
Absolutely.
please?
There's a tea right here.
Man's gonna plan a battle. He's not even drunk. What kind of army is this?
Robert, you are drinking plenty for all of us. Look, here's the plan. We are going to make sure that we surround them entirely.
That's correct. Once you have an enemy surrounded, you can break their little bones down and take them on.
The town of Mawsonville.
Marsonville.
Grant is squatting there with several of his troops in a hiding spot. And then we plan on damming the river.
Let me look at the map. Now, it looks like here we're coming from the north, the south, the east, and the west. We will have them surrounded.
But here's the sticker. When we're surrounding Mawsonville, we're going to be spreading the word that we're surrounding Shakesville. And Mawsonville will be ours for the picking. Ain't that right, Mr. Jackson?
That type of deception is what led the Romans to the greatest empire ever. As far as I've been checked, it never ended and still going fine over the sea.
As long as there's a pile of bodies at the end of this battle, I'll be a happy man.
Would you like some more whiskey, sir?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much.
Very, very insightful.
Yeah, I can't believe that they're not. How stupid do you have to be to
Well,
think,
there's a lot of alcohol in there,
Yeah,
too,
there
as
is
you
an
could
awful
tell.
lot of alcohol going on. There sounds like Robert E. Lee had a few, and he called them bottles, too.
I'm guessing during the Civil War there was a lot of drinking because you probably are going to kill a relative at some point.
Yeah, war is going to make you drink, I think.
Yeah.
There's that, too.
Yep. And so in their drunkenness, it seems like they weren't even aware of the other voices in the room.
Well, remember, too, these people didn't consider slaves people. So as far as they're concerned, they're talking in front of property Which is so naive. In addition to being ignorant in the first place, how naive do you have to be to truly believe that they won't go tell someone? I don't know.
We've got a little bit more to talk about, at least in my episode. I'm not sure what you were planning to do for your episode today, Mr. Johnson. Were you just going to wing it, or did you have a plan coming in?
The first thing I was going to do, to be honest with you, was I was going to listen to you. I was going to see where you were and what you were doing.
Going home because you weren't here?
Yeah, I figured you'd probably be crying in your car a little bit, calling your mother.
My mother and I have not been on. It doesn't matter. Let's move on.
You don't speak to your mother? How can I expect to have a real relationship with you if you don't have a relationship with your mother?
I have a relationship with my mother.
Well,
we just
a good
don't speak to each other very often. Okay? I had some more planned about great human achievements.
I'm familiar with them.
Well, context is often important. For example, it's highly likely that the fastest 100 meters ever run by a human being was not at some track meet, but rather a random tribesman somewhere in the world running away from a wild animal that was trying to kill him.
Guaranteed, you run faster when something's chasing you than you do when you're chasing something.
Absolutely. And it's also highly likely that despite running faster than any human before or since had, that tribesman still probably got eaten.
One way or another, we're all worm dirt.
I will say that no longer do we have to run and jump to avoid animals. But we can still run and jump as a competitive game. But even those games can have serious consequences. And for that, I want to take us to the 1936 Berlin Olympics.
I was thinking Olympics. That's a great idea. 1936?
Jesse Owens.
Wait, that's in Germany.
That's right. Jesse Owens facing up against.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I didn't. It is Hitler.
Rory, why would you?
He's a huge historic. It isn't about him. This is about Jesse Owens. And I know that you've got this Hitler thing with me.
Once again, on this episode, have not said the name, and you've said it dozens of times.
Saying the name
is
as
if you love it.
I do not love it. It's a historical figure, and I'm actually contextualizing a different historical figure using Adolf Hitler as an example.
Have you learned nothing from Joe Rogan?
I have not listened to Joe Rogan, so yes,
You're just afraid he's going to kick your ass.
No,
I could see it in your eyes.
Rogan,
fine, I'll give you what you want.
Joe Rogan is he's minuscule. He's like 5'2".
Okay, I look forward to seeing the day that you two have a YouTube.
I don't think
match.
Joe Rogan and I are going to cross paths.
Okay.
Anyway, can I finish my intro?
Oh.
Adolf Hitler envisioned the 1936 Olympics in Berlin as confirmation of his Aryan supremacy. But Jesse Owens single-handedly destroyed that notion with his 4 gold medals. It was said that after watching Owens dominate the field, Hitler abandoned watching the rest of the games due to his fury. But over the years, there have been a number of witnesses who claim that Hitler personally congratulated Owens for his accomplishments. Now, this doesn't give Hitler any credit or anything, but I do want to clear up if there ever was an interaction between these two men. So, can you please take us to the Berlin Olympics?
Please.
After
Holy shit.
Jesse Owens has won his 4th gold in the 100-meter relay.
Hey, Mr. Chancellor, I was told you'd wanted to meet with me.
Congratulations on your victory. How's about you and I take a trip around the track and let's see who comes out ahead, eh?
What kind of race we talking?
I'm thinking about backwards walking with the blindfolds.
Okay.
I know it sounds more like a party chick than a...
You know what the world doesn't know? They do not know that Chancellor Adolf Hitler is a funny man.
No one knows about my sense of humor, of course, because they're always focusing on the politics.
Mystery solved. And yet again, another mystery raised. So Hitler apparently did congratulate him.
Not only congratulated him, but confronted him in a way.
Challenged
him to a race.
That's the mystery there.
Backwards walking with blindfolds.
Well,
I don't like that. I would not walk backwards with a blindfold on around Hitler for all the money in the world.
I didn't even think of it in terms of not trusting him. My thought is that Hitler's one of these ultra competitive guys, right? So I'm guessing maybe he'd been planning this. He'd been practicing backwards, blindfolded walking.
What's the one thing this super fast guy is
this
super fast and agile guy is not going to be able to do? Which walk backwards with a blindfold if I practice. I guess that makes sense.
I'm still taking Jesse Owens in that race.
Me too. But, except, home court advantage in this case
is
a little scary.
That's true.
I'm not interested.
Well, politicians are a lot of times are delusional. So we did solve that. And honestly, if you're going to put a Hitler interaction up there, I feel like that's...
Preferably, I wouldn't draw from that list ever again.
I'd like to
In fact, I'd like to put down the gauntlet that no more fucking Hitler.
In a history podcast?
In a history podcast, I think it's a good idea.
Well, we'll see. That's all I can say.
Oh, we'll see. Okay.
And we fulfilled our, as you are fond of saying, our 10-episode obligation here.
Right.
And
You brought the contract up again. I'm shocked.
Well, you bring it up a lot. But actually, I got a little something for the both of us just.
Is it more marijuana? Because I've been thinking about it a lot.
No, and you can get
I
that.
just haven't done it.
That's totally up to you. And as I explained, you
Wh-
can get
where
that
am I
anywhere.
supposed to get? Oh, you mean like walk into those marijuana Walmarts? I don't think so. Those places.
Where are you looking to get your marijuana? It's
At
it's
the- at
regulated.
Oh,
You just like getting it from a guy. Huh?
Regulated and videotaped, and they got pictures of you and everything. I'm not interested, man.
it's
No
legal.
thanks. And we don't know what's in there.
There's nothing in there. That's, I thought, one of the points. Regardless, I got us a couple T-shirts. Your catchphrase on it.
Oh,
It gets nice.
It gets nice. Well, it turns out we got those T-shirts after all.
Yeah, we did get them. They're not available widely, but I got you one.
Did you pay for this out of your own pocket?
I just thought it would be a nice gesture here as we're wrapping this up. I know that there's been some hurdles to jump over, some obstacles to get through, but we have successfully gotten through the 10 episodes. You didn't think it would happen.
I didn't think anybody would want 10 episodes. I certainly didn't think that we'd be on the most listened list and all the people that talk about us on talk shows and stuff. I'm not really prepared for it when I walk on a city street and someone stops me to want to talk about the podcast. It's weird.
Oh, one more thing. When I was starting the episode, I didn't have the ad for the ad slot.
Oh,
so we
right.
could just plug it in right here at the end if you brought the ad for yours.
No, the only ad I had was the one I was going to do on my version of this episode. So it's
Just do it. We
You don't
can do
want
it
to.
in this one.
This isn't even really a product.
Is that
it's
it?
not something. Yeah, but
Well,
it's not.
I'll
something,
read it.
Don't.
I've done the other ones. Oh, it's short. Okay. Are you sick and tired of life beating you with the ugly stick? Are you unreliable and often skip work? Are your opinions stupid? Are your friends not really friends? Do you fake it till you make it, but you never really make it? If you answered yes to all of these questions, then you're probably Rory McBain, and you can go fuck yourself. You can find all of the Mr. Johnson family of products at your local post office.
Thank you, Postmaster DeJoy.
Is that really how you want to end the episode?
Mr. Johnson would like to extend a special thank you to all our participating consultants: Kevin Dorff, Dwayne Colbert, Daniel Antonucci, Robert Janis, Matthew Craig, Francis Collier, and Eddie Furman. And a special thank you to Chris Cassone for sound and Dan Antonucci for art.
Mr. Johnson's family of products.
Hey folks, I'm Joe.
And I'm Dan.
And we are the creators of Mr. Johnson's Time Machine. If you made it this far, that means you've listened to the entire podcast, and I want to thank you very much for doing so.
Yeah, and that also means you're a part of a very exclusive club called the Dozens, because there was 12 of you.
Right.
The ones that I know of for sure are, let's see, there's Phil Adrisi and Matt Dwyer, of course, John Henson, as far as I know.
I think Bob Callahan on my end and all the members of the All Sports Fantasy League. Thanks for listening.
Oh, man, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you heard your name, but you know that you didn't listen to all 10 episodes, come on, drop us a line. Let us know so we can rescind our thank you. And if, you want to hear more of these, we'd love to be able to provide that for you, but we're going to need help with that.
So just give us a 5-star rating, and a review would help very much. And also, why don't you tell some of your friends about it to listen, and then maybe we can do some more of these.
Good idea. If you liked it, tell your friends.
Yes.
If you didn't, tell your enemies. Also, why did you listen to the whole thing?
Yeah, very stupid.